Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back here to today's edition of Intuitive Angling, and really appreciate you guys checking today's video out, spending a little time with me. And guys, today I'm going to show you one of the most unique bladed jigs that I have ever seen on the market. I've been using it now for about a year and a half. The thing is head and above any other bladed jig that I use. We're going to be talking about the Earthshaker bladed jig here and why it's unique and why it works better than about any other chatterbait or something like that on the market. So we're going to get into that in today's video. Also, guys, a couple quick housekeeping tips. Just wanted to remind anybody, anyone interested in becoming a channel member here of Intuitive Angling, it's a good way to support the channel, and channel members get extra videos every week that are not seen by the public and some access to my personal email address for your fishing questions. So I'll put that link in the description. Appreciate the support on that, guys. Okay, if you've never seen this, guys, this is the Earthshaker bladed jig made by Bass Nova Baits. They don't have these at Tackle Warehouse, but I'll link the Bass Nova website link in the description if you guys want to pick some up. But the thing about a bladed jig, guys, is it's very difficult for a bladed jig to stand out in the market because they're all pretty much the same thing. They're a jig with a trailer and the bladed jig, that makes it unique like a chatterbait. But the difference in this one here, the Earthshaker jig, it's in the blade here. Now, this is what makes the whole difference, because when you take the blade out of the equation, every other bladed jig on the market is the same. Now, there's some differences in the components, like the type of hook they got in the keeper and the skirt, how it's tied. But this is where the meat and potatoes are, is how the blade design is. Now, if you see this Earthshaker blade, it's a little bit different because it's beefier. It's a little bit thinner at the top, but the overall thickness of it is a little bit thicker than like a chatterbait or jackhammer, something like that. And the design of this thing, the way they have it set up, this thing thumps harder than any bladed jig that you will ever see. And in addition to the thump, it has more movement, because see the freedom of movement here? This thing right here is on a split ring. So the bait actually has a lot more freedom of movement than other bladed jigs on the market. So the combination of the blade design, the vibration, the water displacements, how it just thumps harder, and the freedom of movement of the skirt itself, that it just makes it far superior to any other jig that I've used out there. And guys, I'm not sponsored by this company or anything. I don't have anything to do with it. I've been using the bait now for a couple of years. I just wanted to clue you in on it. Earthshaker jig, Bass Nova lures here. You definitely want to pick some up. This is my favorite color here, guys. This is the one that I actually asked them if I could have some of these tied up. It's brown and orange, and then I've got the Zoom Shimmer Shad on it here in the crawdad pattern. And if you're fishing in March and April, guys, this is the best color that you can throw. A brown and orange with some type of a crawdad trailer definitely gets you a lot of bites. And I definitely prefer the black blade. I've experimented with green pumpkins and browns and different type of, neat looking blade colors, but just the black blade with the brown and orange skirt, this is the one that I get a ton of bites on. Okay, now let's talk a little bit about what you want to look for and what you want to fish this time of year. A lot of it depends on the cover available in the lake you're fishing. Obviously, this is a great grass lure. If you guys have submerged hydrilla, milfoil, cranking this thing over the top of it's going to be really good. But if you don't, if you have a typical man-made lake, fish whatever structure you have available. It's a really good bait to throw on rock, on gravel banks, around any type of wood, stumps, docks. One of the things that I have found out about a bladed jig in the pre-spawn is I like to fish the little bit flatter banks. Now, you hear me talking a lot about channel banks in the pre-spawn, like with spinner baits and crankbaits. But one of the things that I found out about a bladed jig as far as catching more fish on it, it's like I like the flatter banks that are closer to deep water. So instead of the steep banks, I look for those flatter rock banks, the flatter clay banks, the flatter gravel type banks. And it just seems like to me I get a lot more bites on those type of areas. And another thing with this, guys, you'll catch a lot more fish on a bladed jig this time of year fishing it close to the bottom. So what I like to do is, I'll throw it up there, let it, to the bank where I'm fishing, let it hit the bottom, and then I'll just slowly crank it. Sometimes I'll pump it, but I want to keep the bait as close to the bottom as I possibly can. A lot of times it's going to the bottom, and I'll just pump it up a little bit, let it go down. But you don't want to fish it high in the water column. You want to fish it close to the bottom. And another way that I catch a lot of fish on it, like I said, is just pumping it. Just throw it out there, let it hit to the bottom, and just pump it off the bottom. let it fall back down, pump it off the bottom. And this is really good if you have submergent grass. That's a good way to catch them. Most of the time I'm fishing it on 17 to 20 pound test Seagar and Vizex fluorocarbon with like a 7.5 foot medium heavy bait cast rod. But anyway, guys, I just wanted to clue you in on the specific bait, the Earthshaker bladed jig by Bass Nova. Link in the description if you guys would like to pick one up there. I think you guys will really like it. So hope it helps you guys catch some, and we'll talk later.